Well, tonight we continue our Is Portland Over series. Homelessness is everywhere in Portland, and every day on the streets, we see people in crisis.
While city leaders debate the best solution, real people are suffering in our city, battling the elements, addiction, and untreated mental health issues. Tonight, our Liz Birch digging deeper, speaking with leaders of one local organization that has served these people for 7 decades now.
And she finds out what has changed and how the pandemic has made a bad problem even worse.
Old Town has gotten a lot of attention for being at the heart of Portland's homeless crisis, with institutions even getting private security after saying their employees have been assaulted by people in addiction or in mental health crisis. Surrounded by these tents, we find the Blanchet house, who've been here for 70 years and say they're not giving up on their mission, no matter how bad things get. Heidi Price has been volunteering at Blanchet House for about a year.
You want a black one with soy milk and sugar? Soy milk and sugar.
Serving up hot meals and helpings of hope.
It's fun when sometimes we'll have like mocha to give out, and then everybody gets really excited. And then we get excited when we can give out something that's a little more special. And we try to treat everybody just like they're our friends or someone we know.
Friends like Dawn, who came for today's dumplings and coffee.
I have a tent right here.
You live at a tent right here?
Yeah, they offer that here in Portland. As long as you kind of like keep your area clean.
How long have you lived on the streets?
On total, about 35 years.
Tom Morgan has a place to live right now, but comes here to eat. His eyesight makes cooking difficult.
There's people who, a guy hit me once out in the air because I told him I didn't think his mother raised him to speak the way he was speaking, which apparently is offensive to him.
He sees just how hard some people out here have it.
I think it must be awful to be vigilant all night long and worry about things and taking these extra stimulant drugs so you're on top of your so-called game, but then occasionally and eventually it wears you out. I don't know what that would be as a lifestyle.
Executive Director of Blanchet House, Scott Kerman, says those drugs are the biggest problem.
I think if you were to talk to somebody who was working with Blanchet House 35 years ago, they were probably really dealing more with alcoholism. And that's changed. First crack, and then heroin, and now methamphetamine are just game changers because of the impact it has on someone's mental and physical well-being.
He says a lot of that drug use starts when people on the streets are experiencing trauma. Then a cycle of addiction can follow.
What has significantly increased is the mental health crisis that we're dealing with. We're dealing with a significant amount of addiction and addiction hostility, especially with methamphetamine. We're dealing with fentanyl, overdosing.
Exacerbating the issue, he tells me a new, more dangerous type of meth is coming on scene.
We have received reports that there is meth on the street now that is really increasing methamphetamine psychosis, meth-induced hostility.
And then there's the pandemic, which impacted the Blanchet House themselves.
We found ourselves almost overnight not only reinventing how we serve food, but doubling the number of meals that we were serving each day.
And really impacted the people they serve.
Well, the changes in the people that we're serving is profound and heartbreaking. Some of the people that we're serving we knew before the pandemic, and so we can see in real time how the last almost 2 years has impacted them. Their physical health, their mental health, their addiction struggles.
But the Blanchet House isn't giving up. Either is Kerman. He took his fight to City Hall and County Commission in November, asking for money to create a peer support specialist team.
The housing insecure people we serve at Blanchet House are not dangerous criminals, but they are suffering. They are despondent and they are scared. The joint city-county budget package contains an initiative I have developed in consultation with our colleague agencies that seeks to provide this healing and restoration.
Ultimately, they approved the money. He says it's a first-of-its-kind program where different organizations will share the same 6 members broken up into 2 teams.
They can really help the people that we're serving, both by de-escalating crisis and by forming relationships.
He hopes it will create continuity of care and will allow their current volunteers to focus on feeding the lines of people who show up every day. Volunteers like Heidi, who says her feelings have changed in the past year, but her motive to make things better has stayed the same.
I mean, originally when I first started coming down here, I was really nervous and kind of scared, but it just makes me sad now. I just feel like at least we can help in whatever way we can. I don't know what the solution is, but at least to help a little bit.
City to find out when they'll be getting that money. Still awaiting a response there. But Jeff and Elizabeth, just such a heartbreaking insight to hear them talk about how drugs, even possibly a new type of meth, is impacting the people they serve.
Yeah, and you showed this very clearly, and Scott said it very clearly. It's not a homeless issue. It's an addiction. It's a mental health crisis. And we're just going to keep repeating this cycle until we solve those problems. And he was very clear about that. And we talked about 35 years ago, when I did a report, Living on the Streets, Scott said this. Back then, the problem was mainly males, right, and it was an alcohol problem. It is so much more complex now with the drugs and the mental health issues. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I'm sure you're seeing that too with the work of the Blanchet House, that when it is about overcoming this drug abuse, whether it is that meth or something else, it is not an easy nor quick fix. So that adds to the layer of complexity with all of this.
Yeah, and the volunteers, you just can't get discouraged. You got to keep working on it. But it is up to our city leaders to address this in an effective way. And I know everyone's trying, but we just can't give up on this, or Portland will be over if we give up on it. Liz, just great reporting there.
Thanks,
and we want to know what you think about the homeless crisis in Portland and some of the solutions. Email your comments to isportlandover@coin.com. And you can catch up on an entire Is Portland Over series right now at coin.com. And be sure to tune in next Thursday at 5. We'll be taking a closer look at Portland's plan for safe rest villages.
And there's much more coming up here at 5 o'clock.